So they eat a lot of popcorn, have a lot of drinks, and apparently they call them rainbow parties.
Rainbow parties?
Absolutely, because of all the... Oh, hello! Welcome to another episode of Mighty Carmors, proudly supported by Just Car Insurance. Now, if you've been watching this series, of course you know that last episode, Gramps got dysentery.
Dysentery? How so?
Well, we dropped his guts, dropped his groin, and he ended up lying in the back of a ute.
Oh, sounds enthralling.
You've had dysentery in the back of a ute after a B&S ball, haven't you, mate?
I have been known to be partial to a B&S ball.
Okay, I think so. Yes. Now, man, where are we at now? What is going on?
Well, mate, all the parts that are going in this ute, they're going up to a place, the land of sunshine, the land of flip-flops, thongs, sandals, jandals, copious tattoos, and short shorts.
So we're going to the Mardi Gras in Florida?
No, mate, we're going to Queensland.
Same thing.
Which is where Turbo Yoda and Dose Vader also happen to have a workshop.
The Death Star.
Exactly right.
Yep. So it's going to be an incredible episode. We'll be zooming up to the Death Star, and there's some very, very exciting things happening up there. I don't think there's many surprises of what happens when we get there, Martin. We'll need to go to the toilet.
Well,
it's a long trip.
Obviously. There'll be a lot of spinning.
Yes.
Screwdrivering.
There'll be a lot of spit squirting.
Well, I would have to agree with that also.
Okay, Martin. Let's get to it, my friend.
Let's roll a film.
I've got the film again. Here, Martin.
Have you learned how to use it yet?
Absolutely. Wait. How the does this work?
I'm about a third of a way the very long drive to the Sunshine Coast. What can I say? Driving up with a ute full of about half a ton of engines and gearboxes and stuff. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world.
Turbo Yoda told me to put everything from Gramps into a ute and be at AM Auto first thing Monday morning. He said he'd lined up a replacement shell for me and that I'd like it a lot. And he was right. He'd found me a 2003 Generation 4 Subaru Liberty Wagon. This car won Japan's Car of the Year in 2004, the first time Subaru had ever won the award. And it's easy to see why. It's modern, comfortable, quiet, and some even came with a factory H6, meaning our Tribeca engine will fit right in. This one was cheap, with almost 400,000 Ks on the clock and a lot of wear and tear. It meant we could use it as a new base without blowing the budget.
So I've come up to Noosaville a day early to collect the car. Tomorrow Moog's going to meet me at AM Auto Services with Turbo Yoda and Dose Vader, otherwise known as Alan and Miles. And we're going to rip this thing apart and we're going to stick all the good bits out of Gramps into this car to create Supergramps. We're literally replacing every part that has anything to do with the amount of Ks as far as running gear is concerned, except for the front hubs.
Yeah, more or less a Gen 4 version of Gramps version 2, I suppose.
Supergramps.
Supergramps.
While the engine swap itself will be very similar to last time, there'll be much less fabricating things from scratch, so we should be able to fit the entire engine conversion into just a few days.
Happy?
This particular Gen 4 is a GT model which has a 2-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. While it is small compared to our 3.6 litre, it's fairly high-tech with dual cam control and a twin-scroll VF38 turbo. First up, we've got to drain all the fluids, engine oil, auto transmission oil and coolant. Then we can remove the factory exhaust, which is going straight in the scrap bin.
Plan is we're going to get the new Crossmember and put the old engine onto the new Crossmember and get it ready to put in the car from underneath. That way it'll make it a lot easier. We don't have to split the gearbox from the engine. We can just put it all in as one piece.
The key to making all our fabricated turbo parts fit is the Crossmember. Depending which engine the car came with, it may have cutouts for exhaust manifolds or be an entirely different shape altogether. We've got ourselves a low kilometre one with a steering rack already attached, meaning we can lower the engine straight onto it.
So we've got the EZ36 off the pallet, unstrapped, and we've put it on the Crossmember that goes in the Gen 4 that we got. So now that's all ready to just lift into the car, but first there's a problem with Supergramps, and that is it has a slow, dirty 2-litre engine that's turbo and actually worth a bit of money, but this is better, so this is what we're going to use. Hey Dose Vader, so these arms are completely different to what we put in the original Gramps, hey? Different design, everything?
Completely different, yeah. The whole idea of them was supposedly to cut down noise and have more angle on the arm and not changing the geometry of the suspension too much as it moves.
Cool.
But most cars seem to have gone to this style.
Alright, so we've undone everything and taken all the plumbing and everything off the engine and the transmission, wiring off, it all sort of unplugs and everything comes out. Now we've got to strip out the suspension and wheels and get them all out of the way of the cross members. And then we're actually going to lower the whole lot out the bottom, but we're going to do it carefully this time because this engine's actually worth something. Then we're just going to put that on a pallet, slide it away, and it'll get used in someone else's car someday. Then we're going to bring the other engine over and we're actually going to load it up from the bottom. And that's the way they build the cars in the factory, and it actually works really well. If you've got everything set up, you just put it underneath, let the hoist down, everything just lines up, do the bolts up, it's in, done.
So from the factory, because this is a GT, meaning the turbo one, it comes with 316mm brakes, which is actually quite big. The Brembos that we put on are not much different. They've got a better caliper or whatever. This is just like a 2-pot caliper. But these are actually quite big, so these are going to stay for now. We're going to add our Brembos and all that stuff in later when we figure out wheels and all the other things, but for now, these are staying so the factory wheels can go back over them. But they're actually pretty good, and they're a good upgrade for other earlier cars. I had them on my original Generation 1 Liberty, because it's a massive area on the disc, and a pretty decent caliper on there also. So they'll do a pretty good job of slowing it down, maybe not at 1,000,000 miles an hour down the quarter mile, but for just getting home, they'll be fine. So if those things are stuck, you can loosen it off, can you?
Yeah, it's just the handbrake. It'll have a lip just inside the handbrake part of the disc.
Yep.
So just got to get in there and just loosen it off a couple of clicks.
That's a little access hole right at the back of there.
And then it'll just come off.
They're not actually that bad, is it? It's just there for comfort and there for like not having to replace them and not having to worry about torn ones, and maybe you get a bit more NVH, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's the main thing. Is obviously the manufacturer looks at having a nice, sweet, comfortable car, and that's what they do. The problem is they wear a lot quicker because there's a spot where the bush can start to wear from.
We just got to take the automatic transmission cooler lines off down the bottom there, and then we can lower it out the bottom.
It'll all just drop?
Yep.
Wow. That's still quite a neat package, you know what I mean? Like, you can even see what you need to do to plug it back in. It's like fuel, electronics, alternator, battery, couple of coolant lines, away you go.
Yeah, it's all made to be built quickly and efficiently, so that makes it easy for us to pull it apart as well.
By lowering the engine rather than lifting, it means the engine and gearbox can come out as one unit. Car manufacturers have robots for this kind of thing, but with some careful manoeuvring, we're able to get the engine safely lowered out and onto the floor.
This is slightly embarrassing. We packed all these boxes in Sydney with all the bits from the car, but I was so busy showing off my fancy pants turbo to everyone, I left it on the bench at Ichiban. So I've called Moog and said, can you please bring it up when you come up this morning? And hopefully he gets to Benny's and then gets my turbo. Otherwise, I'm gonna have a rather unexciting 6-cylinder non-turbo thing with pipes and just exhaust floating around everywhere. It's gonna be kind of crap.
We're going to drop the back end out and put it on the same pallet as the engine to make it easy to move it around, get rid of it.
And so this is going to come out pretty much the same way, right? We just undo all of it, including the top of the shocks, and drop it out?
Yeah, there's not a lot to it. It's just 4 crossmember bolts. Like it's a big unit. Same thing. They build them to be assembled easily in the factory. We just got to take the shock off, probably at the bottom, and leave them hanging there, and then pull it out the bottom, and the other unit will go back in the same way. The early Subarus have just got just lateral links, so it's just a bunch of metal sticks holding onto a hub. It's really basic. It's more or less front-wheel drive based suspension, so the front-wheel drives just don't have a diff, and then they've just adapted it with a diff. And it's doesn't have, there's no geometry changes or anything like that. It's pretty ordinary. So they've changed to this multi-link design, which is, it's kind of similar to Nissan based stuff. And everything after this has got that. The Impreza's changed over in 2008, same as Forester. It's not the same as this, but it's that type of design. So these things have a bit of a problem with bushes wearing out because everything's under tension, because it changes its geometry path as the wheel travels. So these things can be a real pain to get the bolts in and stuff, because everything's under tension, and that of course causes the bushes to wear out earlier than what the old ones did.
So what are in that case, what's the benefits? I mean, you're saying the original ones are really basic. Do you get better handling? Is that kind of why they do it?
Sure, yeah, definitely, yeah. They don't make this sort of fancy stuff for no reason. It definitely makes a difference. Plus you can use Nissan rear end parts in them. You can put, we built one with an R230 rear end in it and 300ZX hubs, and it's all so similar that you can almost bolt it on.
We managed to swap our early model rear end for a late one that would fit directly up to this car. It's designed to have the extra torque from a 6-cylinder put through the diffs and shaft.
Hello, mate.
Hello.
Got a flying car.
Yeah.
No driveline whatsoever.
It's a good bit of deja vu happening.
Yeah, we have done this before. But this is rapid, and this is nice and new and super like. So we've got to strip all the anything related to automatics out.
Yeah.
Which we've done before also.
You don't like automatic.
I don't really need an auto unless it's got like 500 kilowatts. Then I want an auto, because it'll hold it.
Yeah.
But so we strip in all like the cooling lines out.
Yep.
And I'll give this a mad clean up so that it's nice and shiny for when a new engine goes in.
Yep. Sounds good.
I'm gonna get my clean on.
Our old intercooler won't fit the updated front end, and being that it was heat soaking pretty badly on the old car, we'll be replacing it with something mad.
Our Castrol Edge has arrived. Brand new, 540.
And just in time, someone else arrived, also in a box.
So hot in Queensland. Might be why everyone's a bit loopy up here. In a good way, they're awesome. I love Queenslanders. But look what I've got.
Oh yeah, dude. Did you bring it?
Look at that.
Oh, mad.
And I'm hoping that this is my key to get back into Turbo Yoda's heart. Hey Turbo Yoda. Yeah. Hello mate. How you going? I've brought a peace offering. That's a big turbo. G'day mate. Ah, lay it on me. You know I don't own a Honda, don't you?
What Honda?
Exactly. But do you think this will fit on Marty's Subaru?
I reckon it will.
Awesome. Well, it should do, because
It'll
that's
bolt
where it's
straight
from.
on.
Yeah, he was meant to bring it with him. Left it in Sydney. Bit of a fail, but luckily he's got me as his little man courier. All right. Welcome.
Look at that thing of beauty. Look at it spin.
I know. And the turbo too.
That's made so many smiles, hasn't it, already?
Yeah.
There's even footage of us smiling because of that turbo. Oh, wow! There's footage of you smiling because of that thing.
Yeah. It's like,
Is that a winner? Yeah.
Well, I'm smiling right now because it means I'm allowed back in the workshop. I had this really bad dream once that I owned a Honda and he didn't like me anymore. And now it's all hugs and stuff.
Well, I had a dream that he had like an internet meme as well.
Really?
Yeah. It was just his face. Yes. Everyone's in agreement.
This body shape had a factory H6 in it, so everything's longer.
Yeah.
So we're going to use all factory gear in it, so radiator, hoses, everything's going to just fit. Instead, whereas with Gramps 1 it was all shorter and we had to sort of put fans on the wrong side and that sort of thing, so it's all going to be standard.
Yeah.
Which is, going to make it a much sort of cleaner sort of build.
Yeah, and I guess in some ways it'll look more stock as well.
Yeah, it will. It'll look pretty much like a factory engine with a big turbo hanging off it, which is good.
How long will it take to kind of, at the moment there's no engine in there, there's an engine over there, how long do you think it'll take to actually put it in, bolt it up, like literally get an engine
So it's
in
in
that
there?
gaping hole?
Less than 10 minutes.
Yeah, tight. But the rear end's almost done, which is awesome because this is
Danny
like
will be happy about that.
this is not super exciting stuff. We want to like be mounting turbos and exhaust and wiring stuff and doing all the fun stuff. But this has to be here or the car doesn't move.
That's right. This is like an ankle, isn't it, Martin?
An ankle.
Because the foot is like a wheel and the
Yeah.
ankle is kind of what holds it all together and makes it do.
Yeah, exactly right. But it's newer and nicer than the old one, so that's cool too. Like it's an upgraded rear end. Everybody likes an upgraded rear end, wouldn't you say?
Sometimes, mate.
The shell of the car is basically the same between autos and manuals, but sometimes manufacturers will make them differently for whatever reason. In this case, they've this one mounting in this big brace that's welded in along here is slightly different. So it means our normal Crossmember won't just bolt up. You can't pull one off a manual and just throw it on, expect it to fit. So we're going to have to make a hybrid between this auto one, which will fit, and the manual one, which you can see that doesn't quite make it. So Turbo Yoda will use his skills and we'll make something that's going to kind of join those two together, which will mount the gearbox nice and comfortably up under the car.
How lucky are we to have Turbo Yoda at times like this when things need to be made?
Making stuff completely from scratch is where the kind of next level skills come in, I guess, because this all does go together like a bit of a jigsaw, but making stuff from scratch, that's tricky. So using some Yodery skill, Al's managed to knock up a little extension on this Crossmember. So this will now fit our gearbox and fit the car. It was originally automatic.
Next up, we've got to do something about the suspension. The near 400,000 kilometre old shocks weren't going to cut it, so some basic coilovers will let us set our dampening and ride height perfectly.
I feel like I'm seeing a ghost all the time. Every time I look from Supergramps and I look out onto the street, directly next to the sign is a spectre or a ghost of the past Gramps. Like he's looking at us.
Next, Supergramps gets front and rear drive shafts reinstalled. We can then reattach our brakes and now it's able to roll again.
Tomorrow we're going to chuck 2 seals into the gearbox. Then the drive shafts can be put back in for the last time. And we can start trying to see if all our turbo gear will fit again. Because it's all in a slightly different place, and what we're hoping is that we don't have to remake anything. And we can just use all the existing stuff. There might be some minor modifications involved. Supergramps is going to be awesome.
There it is, another chapter in the Gramps build, unexpected, yet mildly enjoyable, I think.
I agree. I absolutely agree. Now, for any of you people out there with your electronical, mechanical typewriters, you can go to faceballs.com. This Faceballs, isn't it?
Yes, I've heard of a device called a touch phone.
What does that do?
A touch phone.
It touches you?
I see people put it in their pocket.
Yes.
And they smile. I can only assume what is going on with the touch phone.
I need you to get me one of those. But in the meantime, get on your typewriters and you can click at faceballs.com/Mighty Car Mods and you will find a lot of information that may or may not be of use to you, your family, your friends, and most of the planet.